Well, welcome back. Again, this is Mr. Boltzmann. This is Art 1 class, and we are working on lesson 2, part 2 anyway, of the box and the ball. And here's a finished one here that I'd like to show you. And you can see that here was the box that we did last time. And then this is the ball shape that we're going to do this time. And the whole idea behind this is to learn to do shading, looking at some simple objects, looking at how the lights and the darks. And you can see from this little styrofoam ball here, even if I bring it up a little bit higher, how the light hits it from over here, and you can see some darkness on it. Now, if this were sitting on a tabletop and there were some shadows coming off of it, it would look a little bit different than it does here. But I had that one just kind of extended out into space. So the box and the ball, you already have your name on this and you have your hour on it. There was the box. So as we go and do the ball down here, I'm going to let you cheat a little bit if you would like to. If you would like to find something with a circle on it already, that's good. Or if you want to use a compass, you can find something that's already round. And you can trace. I'm just going to trace around the inside of this tape roll that I've been using. And there I have a circle. So it is very possible to do that. You could go around a cup or a mug or a small bowl. Anything like that would work fine. So lots of times artists use tools to help us with things. So that's good. So that part of the drawing is done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a shadow, a cat's shadow on the bottom of this. And if you look closely, you can see that this is a foreshortened circle. A foreshortened circle that tucks up underneath this ball. And it starts right at the very bottom of it here. And it doesn't come down like this. It kind of comes out to the side like that, right? So that's what I'm looking to do here. So as I'm taking this at the bottom of this ball, I'm going to come out to this side and I'm going to put this foreshortened circle. Now, if you remember, a foreshortened circle has a curve at the top and a curve at the bottom, and it just kind of rounds on the end there. It doesn't come to a point. It's not like a football. But there's my foreshortened circle for this ball. And then I'm going to put one more line for my tabletop right through here. And that's all of the drawing for this ball. The rest of it is all shadows and shading. So as I get started here, this is going to be a little different. As I'm looking at this ball right here, you're looking at the ball shape. You can see that there's a shadow on here that's pretty dark right along the top and to the right. And that darkness of the shadow runs right through here. See that? It runs right through here. Oh, look, the box kind of did the same thing. The darkest part ran over and down. This one, since it's rounded, is going to follow the curve. This is the darkest point. So where the light meets the darkness is the darkest. This is a concept called chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. It's an Italian word that the light meets the darkness. Chiaroscuro. And it's the same thing here. Chiaroscuro. C-H-I-A-R-O-S-C-U-R-R-O if you want to spell it or look it up on Google. But it's called chiaroscuro. So when I start to shade this ball, I'm going to start at the upper right here. And I'm going to start to put in a shadow. I'm going to use the side of my pencil here. And it's going to kind of come down a little bit like a hook. And it's going to come over like this, kind of like a J shape almost. So when you start to shade this ball, when you, if you're working with me, just start to put some of these shadows in. And again, don't be afraid to stop the video if you want to. And you can catch up if you get a little bit behind. That's okay. To do a good box and to do a good ball takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes of shading, really, to do a nice job with it. These don't happen quickly. Now, the ball shape that you're doing here is going to be really, really important with all of these soft edges for this eye that we're going to be doing later on together. All right. So you can see a round shape here. You can see some of these round values there. This is what we're headed towards, but this lesson right here is a really important lesson to do first. And I found over the years of working with students that if you work through this lesson by lesson, part by part, piece by piece, we can do this. All right, I know it seems a little scary. Lots of things seem scary right now. It's really hard for me to try to learn how to teach online. It's very frightening. I've never done a lot of these things before. Now I'm going to take this darker pencil and put it up here. But what I'm finding out, if I can do a couple little things and start to find a little bit of success in them, then other things start coming together too. And you can do this. And you just do the best that you can under the situations. And I know that a lot of people are working at home right now. Your parents may be working at home right now. It may be really tough to find any time to really even watch a video in quiet. It may be really difficult to sit down and do these drawings, but just do the best that you can, and you can send them in to me. And like I said, I will be kind. I'm not going to grade them super hard. I don't do that. My job here is to encourage you. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this value, and on a scale of 1 to 10, if you look at this ball, on a scale of 1 to 10, all right, as I'm looking at this value scale, this part right here is going to be 6 or 7, maybe even an 8. All right, maybe even an 8. Could go to a 9. I've seen some people go that dark in there, and that's okay. So I'm going to start to, then erase it back out. No big deal. I'm going to start to put some of these darker values in here, and this takes a while to build up. So if you were in the classroom with me, if you could be with me, I would just have you drawing right now, and I would have you doing the shading right along with me, and then you could look up once in a while and see the screen. You don't have to watch everything I'm doing, but look up once in a while. And if you don't know, you have at home the advantage of, how did he do that? I missed that step. So you can go back and watch it again, and you can see it. So these videos are going to be really important. Now, as this comes down, there's this weird backlight that happens. So I'm going to use the side of my pencil here. And as this comes down right here, I'm just going to do that very lightly, way at the bottom. Because this light, I'm looking at my direction of my pencil, this light is going to come down, it's going to bounce off the bottom of this table, and it's going to give a backlight right there. So that part way at the bottom, which a lot of people would think would be the darkest part of the ball, really isn't. It's really not. Then if you take your finger and you rub it a little bit like this, oh my, that really helps. That really, really helps. Then you can put a little bit more value in here, and then you can rub a little bit more and put a little more value towards the bottom. I don't want to get it too dark. I want it a little bit darker over here. There we go. And this ball is starting to pop a little bit. It's not really popping very much. By popping, I mean looking three-dimensional. So it is just a little, but it's not very much. So as you work this, you can work that edge. Now here's a trick. You don't even have to shade over there. You can just take your finger, and if you take your finger and you rub over that, you get a little bit of graphite up onto your finger, and you can take this, you can kind of push this out into there. You can push it over and just make that really soft, a soft edge. Where the light meets the dark, it's going to be the darkest, but it's going to change pretty quickly. I'm going to work this just a little bit more right here. I want that darkness to come down just a little bit more, but I want that change there to be a soft change. So I want a softness right there at the edge where that light meets the dark. That looks better. I'm going to add a little bit more dark to the top over here for contrast. Remember, contrast is where the light meets the dark, where the light meets the dark. Sometimes you have a lot of contrast. Sometimes it's just a very little bit of contrast. All right, so I'm going to call that part right there pretty much done right now. I can always go back in there and work it a little bit more. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to put in a cast shadow down here. A cast shadow is going to be quite dark. I'm going to take this all the way to a 10, so I want there to be a lot of contrast at the bottom of the ball right there, where the lighter part here meets the darker. I want there to be really sharp. I would like you to get that really sharp, and I would like you to get that very, very, very dark. Get this, go to a 10. Go to a 10 right there. Now, a lot of times on a ball shape like this, it will be a little bit darker. I like to go a little bit darker around the outside edge of this cast shadow. Remember, a cast shadow is a shadow that gets thrown down on the ground from an object. It gets cast down. We looked at that in lesson 1, and we worked with that a little bit in lesson 2. And now this week, we're spending most of our time looking at lights and darks. So this week has to do with values. We're trying to find the value system, the 1 to 10 values that work so well with this. Now, there's a really good cast shadow. And see, that helps that ball to pop right there where the dark meets the light, it pops. It pops right here pretty good. But over here, it doesn't pop at all because this is a 1 and this is a 1. So what I need to do, like I did with the box in the last lesson, I need to put some value over here. Now I'm going to use the cover sheet again because I don't want to get this ball all smudged. So I'm going to put a cover sheet over that where my hand goes. See how that works? So I'm trying to teach you lots of techniques just through these videos. If you can watch the videos, and then just draw with me, just do it. You don't have to take notes on this. Your notes are your drawings are your notes. All right, so if you can show me that you can somewhat master these skills, if you can show me that you can do these things, then we're good. Because this is a participation class, and yes, we do take some notes, and yes, I will give you a final exam, and I'll review all that, and it should be very, very familiar to you by the time we get there. All right, so don't worry about that at all. This class, I would like this class to be a low stress class. I don't want this to be a high stress. And you're having enough trouble with a lot of your other classes just trying to figure out how to manage the classrooms and the Googles and the Zooms and all of that. Those of you who are taking these courses with us here in Lapeer. If you're watching this video from somewhere else, you don't have to worry about that at all. All right, so I'm going to add some shadow in the background there, and I'm going to fade that out. See, that helps this edge to pop right there a little bit. And then I want to, as this goes back around, I'm going to add some value in the background, just a little bit here, not too much, just so that it doesn't look white. Yeah, I don't want it to look just a value of a 1. So I'm going to add some value back there too. And I'm going to take my finger and smudge that a little bit. I might show this edge here a little bit more. That's good. So I have the darkest part of this ball is coming right through here. It comes down here to a backlight, down to a cast shadow. This shows chiaroscuro right there. This shows backlighting. This is back shading, or the darkest part. But right up here in the front, right here, I'm going to add a little bit of darkness because it is dark towards the bottom of the ball right there. And then it's going to fade up into light. I might put just a little bit of value up in here now. I might just add a little bit and then rub it just to show that transition. That helps. And then lastly, I would like to put just a tiny little bit of value in front of the ball right here. So it's not a 1, it's not a value of 1 versus a 1 with just a little line in between it. I would like to show values there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some value right there. I'm going to add a little value down here. I'm going to add just a little bit of value to the background. There you go. Just a little bit right here. And then right at this point where the background meets the ball right there, I'm going to add a little bit, just a little bit of emphasis right there, just a little bit of sharpness right there to show that. And that helps a little bit. All right. So there's a ball shape, the light source coming from here, chiaroscuro, cast shadow, and I did some shading in the background to get this to pop. So this is a 1 versus a 3 or so. This is a 6 or 7, maybe even an 8 over here versus a 2. And then here, this is this part right in here. If you want to make that a little darker, you could. It gets lighter as it comes down. There's the backlight. And there you go. So this is going to conclude the lesson for the box and the ball. These are two very, very, very important drawings to be able to do. All right, college professors love looking at drawings like this. It would be great to have something like this in your portfolio, a simple drawing, really well done. So there's the box, there's the ball. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that you have a great day. This is going to conclude your drawing lessons for this week, and so I will sign off. Thanks. Take care.